Well, yet another development in India-Bangladesh ties, and this time the move is being made by Bangladesh. Bangladesh has now stopped yarn imports from India via the land ports that exist. Now, why have they done it? Well, it is largely being seen as a move to respond to India's withdrawal of transshipment facilities for Bangladesh. Now, India, of course, reasoned it out, saying that it was causing congestion and logistical delays for India, and that's why it had to take the call. But officially, we haven't heard from Bangladesh as to why they've taken this decision, especially when their domestic textile manufacturing units do depend on Indian yarn for production. And, Bangladesh, of course, hugely depends on the textile industry for a major share of its exports. And that's one thing that the country produces a lot. And therefore, why they've stopped yarn imports from India is something that officially there isn't an explanation for. However, what we are learning is that the domestic manufacturers in Bangladesh are not very happy with the decision, because Indian yarn was, easy to source for them. It was also economical to get it. And therefore, importing yarn from other countries would mean more costs involved. And for an industry where, costs do matter a lot, this is something that obviously they are not very happy about. However, official reasoning is something that we are still to, get from the Bangladesh side. This seems like a move that has been done in response to India withdrawing transshipment rights for Bangladesh, is what many experts explain it as. However, there seems to be, a reason lacking for it. Now, what are the ports through which this yarn used to come in to Bangladesh? This is basically, the land ports that exist at Benapole, which is where, the Benapole-Petropol border near, this is about 2 hours away from Kolkata. Then you have the Bhomra border, the Sonamasjid, Banglabandha and Burimari land ports. These are all ports that used to all, facilitate the import of yarn into Bangladesh for Bangladesh's textile industry. And that is something that obviously will now not happen at these ports. This order has been issued by the authority there in Bangladesh that controls all of this, and therefore this is being seen by many as a move by Bangladesh to try and respond to India's withdrawal of transshipment facilities. However, this is going to impact, as many say, domestic manufacturers in Bangladesh as well. And, the Bangladesh-India ties have really been on a downward slope since Mohammad Yunus made those comments about India's northeast being landlocked and inviting China, saying Bangladesh was the guardian of the ocean. Then, of course, Mohammad Yunus met Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the sidelines of the BIMSTEC Summit. In that meeting, a stern message was given about these rhetorical statements. Then, of course, India went on to, withdraw transshipment rights. And then, of course, Bangladesh has now gone on to block the import of yarn from India. So, the relationship doesn't seem to be very good at this point. It is a strained relationship. However, Bangladesh and India are neighbors, and there is trade that is, very, very common between the two countries, and a lot of trade happens. And therefore, many believe that perhaps it's in the best interests of both to try and improve the relationship. However, at this point, the statements that have been coming out of Bangladesh, especially starting with the statement from the chief advisor of the interim government and what has followed, the relationship continues to be strained, with Bangladesh now taking steps to block yarn imports from India. For more such videos where we go beyond the headlines and provide context, stay tuned to NDTV's YouTube platform. Thank you so much for watching. For all the news and updates, stay tuned to NDTV.